Due to the continuing conflict in Ukraine, Russian club Spartak Moscow has been barred from competing in the Europa League. According to German media source Bild, their opponents RB Leipzig will receive an automatic bye into the quarterfinals of the competition. Hi, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to talk about why Spartak Moscow got kicked out of the Europa League by the UEFA. So, let's get started. Moscow had already been barred from playing their home league owing to the present conditions, but the European Football Association has now decided to take additional action and eliminate them entirely from the competition. In addition, the formal statement from FIFA and UEFA was made on Monday evening. Spartak published a statement following their elimination from the Europa League, which read, "The decision to ban our squad from the Europa League is disappointing. In tough times, we think the sport should strive to build bridges rather than to burn them, even if that means competing against one another. We'll concentrate on domestic conquests and hope for a rapid restoration of peace, which everyone needs." Leipzig President Oliver Minzlaff has previously stated before the ban that the club continues to be in continuous touch with the associations, and that we have great faith in the UEFA and their judgment. We are under the impression that the games will be cancelled. In response to Russia's invasion of Ukraine, UEFA has barred Spartak Moscow from even participating in the Europa League, as I've said a couple of times by now. RB Leipzig is set to receive a bye in the quarterfinals, given that they were scheduled to face Spartak Moscow in the previous round. Due to the initial decisions taken by the FIFA Council and the UEFA Executive Committee, which contemplated the adoption of additional measures, FIFA and the UEFA have today decided jointly that all Russian teams, whether national representative teams or club teams, will be barred from participating in any FIFA or UEFA competitions until further notice, until the situation has been resolved. This week's choices were taken by the FIFA Council's Bureau and the European Football Association's Executive Committee, which are the top decision-making bodies of both organizations at such a time of crisis. Football is completely unified in this country and stands in complete sympathy with all those who've been impacted in Ukraine. It is both the president's wishes that the situation in Ukraine would dramatically and quickly improve, allowing football to once again serve as a vehicle for unification and peace among people. The first leg was initially slated to take place on March 10th, with the return time planned to take place 7 days later, on March 17th. In the last 16 draw, Spartak Moscow was a seeded club due to their success in their group, which meant that the second leg against RB Leipzig was set to take place in the Russian capital. "The decision to disqualify our squad from the Europa League is disappointing," the club made a statement. "In tough times, we think that the sport should strive to build bridges rather than to burn them, even if it means competing against one another. We will continue to concentrate on domestic contests and hope for a rapid restoration of peace, which everyone much needs." On Monday morning, an armed Ukrainian guard can be seen in the streets of Kiev, as the security has been beefed up amid worries of more frequent and bloodier Russian strikes in the city. A statement from RB Leipzig stated that the club was currently in active discussions with the UEFA on how to proceed in the round of 16 games in the Europa League versus Spartak Moscow, and anticipates that the association will make their decision in the near future. Ukraine's commander says that the capital of Kiev has surrounded another night around the Russian bombardment, with Putin's demoralized and weary forces suffering serious losses, while attempting and failing to break through defenses on the city's outskirts. Commander of the city's defenses, Colonel General Alexander Syrskyi, declared on Monday morning that all attempts to penetrate the city had failed, and everything was now, quote-unquote, under control. "We demonstrated that we are capable of protecting our house from unauthorized intruders," he continued. Despite expectations that Russian forces will rapidly ramp up their assaults, smoke rises above Kiev on Monday morning as the city wakes after a night of intense Russian bombing to relative calm. However, there is concern that Moscow's troops will quickly ramp up their attacks again. According to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry, the overall number of Russian casualties was 5,300, albeit this figure could not be independently verified. Russia's defense ministry has recognized that it has suffered severe losses in this fight for the first time, although it has not stated how many people have been killed. Attacks on Kiev were unsuccessful despite the fact that the city was being heavily bombarded, with witnesses describing the sound of carpet bombing. When the curfew that had been in effect since 3 p.m. on Saturday was lifted at 6 a.m. on Monday, residents were able to go out and buy food and get some fresh air, but air raid sirens were activated immediately after. In the early hours of the morning, Russia issued an invitation to all Ukrainian nationals to evacuate the city through a safe roadway, causing concern that bombing might be about to intensify substantially. A similar technique was used by Moscow in Syria when it fought against Assad's forces, generally prior to shelling and bombing cities that resulted in large numbers of deaths. As a result, despite the fact that advanced Russian forces have been fighting on the outskirts of Kiev for several days, the majority of Putin's assault force is still some 20 miles away, having been slowed by determined resistance fighters. Satellite images reveal that the large column of vehicles is on its way to the city. The cities of Zhytomyr, Zaporizhzhia, and Chernihiv were also bombed overnight, and air raid sirens could be heard in other parts of the country as a result of that. Fighting has persisted in Kharkiv, Ukraine's second biggest city, which is located in the country's eastern region near the Russian border and has been on the scene of the country's worst conflicts thus far. So, seeing this global crisis, let's hope that the situation gets under control and peace prevails again. Seriously. Meanwhile, what are your thoughts on this? Do you think putting up all these sanctions on Russian football can help solve this global crisis? Let us know in the comment section below. I would love to see some lovely, healthy discussion from everybody and people coming together to basically shit talk Putin. I'm just gonna say it. Screw the monetization. We're at the end of the video anyways. Nah, they actually mostly just care about the beginning, like the first 30 seconds of a video. It's kind of funny. Anyways, if nothing else, wait a minute, I forgot. Yep, classic YouTube stuff. Subscribe button, that would be lovely. Notification bell, also be lovely. Like button, even lovelier. And if you were to show your mom, or your friends if you have those. And anyways, that's all I got for you, so later.